coming to you from Rockingham, IPL Radio.
And we're back. It is just about 20 past 1. It's Monday Mindwaves. We've just had a great interview with Kes Wickham St George, and now we've got another interview back to back today. That's really cool.
Yep.
Paul, how you going?
Going well. We're excited. It's nearly AFL season, and I was up watching the Formula One last night, so it's been a busy weekend for me.
We'll start with the Formula One, and then we'll go into the big news.
Sure.
So how did the Formula One go?
Yeah, look, I set up last night. It was the Bahrain Grand Prix. Obviously, Red Bull are going to be the team to beat. Max Verstappen, last year's world champion, he was a cut above the rest again last night as expected. And Sergio Perez finished second. And there was a bit of surprise. Alonso came in third, where there was a bit of a problem with the Ferraris. And Charles Leclerc came out at lap 40. He had an electrical fault. So not a good start to his season, but creates some excitement for the Grand Prix coming up for this season.
Awesome. I used to remember watching a lot of the Grand Prix. I used to get up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when Damon Hill and Michael Schumacher were jostling for position. It was like 93, 94.
Yeah.
I've not really followed it since he left, to be honest. But yeah, the whole sport is very exciting, especially when Murray Walker used to commentate, because he's just got that kind of voice that he could say, "Oh, there's a feather on the floor," and he make it sound exciting. Exactly. He's got one of those voices, you know. Yeah. That's cool.
Crofty's good. I mean, the new commentator group are fantastic to listen to. But yeah, the
he always used to say dumb stuff as well, because he was pretty much having to talk on the fly.
Yeah.
They made it quite a big joke about it at the time, where you could guarantee that he would say some stupid stuff that's turned out to be not true, or he'd make a mistake or something. So he was just a very very good to listen to.
Absolutely.
with the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I've had an interesting Grand Prix back when Nelson Piquet and Mansell were, for the Williams team back in the 80s. So yeah, I follow it. I don't get an opportunity to sit up every round, but lucky enough I've got KO at home, and I can watch the replays and watch when I can.
Awesome. Okay, so tell us your big news.
Yeah, well, SD and I, we're excited. We've got a new show starting this Thursday. So 3 o'clock every Thursday, we'll be having a light-hearted bit of fun, talking about sport, giving everyone their footy and sport fix. And thanks to IPL for giving us an opportunity to start the show. We don't know how many listens we'll have in the first couple of weeks, but
it's already got a lot of interest, though. I've seen a couple of the posts that you put on have been getting quite a lot of comments. So
yeah, well, I'm lucky enough we can now guarantee Mum and Dad will be listening, so we've at least got 2. So
awesome.
And then there's my folks.
Yeah, well, that's cool.
So we've doubled.
Excellent.
Double figures, wow. That's really cool. So we at least have 4 or 5.
Yeah, well, being an auctioneer, it's like taking bids. So we'll take advances on 4.
Sold.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll also be covering a little bit about the cricket. So Australia obviously be playing over in India at the moment. They got absolutely belted in the first couple of tests, but they came through and had a good victory. Under the captaincy of Steve Smith, they looked at a different side, and that's obviously because of Pat Cummins being home with an illness to his mum. So they played a great game, and bit of credibility back into the team, because they were terrible in the first couple of.
But what do you think about the whole conditions? Like, the pitches there are so for spinners, but
absolutely, yeah.
It's they didn't even know what they were going into.
No.
You can't try the pitch, you can't test it out. You see it and you go, oh my God. Yeah,
well, I mean, you think of any test series in the world, and when are the spinners on an over number 3 or over number 5?
Opening bowler, a spinner.
Yeah, but look, Lyon got an 8 for.
8,
but the ball's bouncing, at their ankles, so it's pretty hard for the batsmen. They're not making big runs, and it's definitely a spinner's wicket. And unfortunately, Australia have always struggled over in the subcontinent, and it looks like it's going to be like that again.
Cool. So you're going to be covering the AFL, obviously, the way that you're dressed.
We can tell who you don't support.
Yeah, well, we'd love it to be a Richmond Tigers sports show, but unfortunately we're not able to do that. But we are a bit excited because Richmond and Carlton are coming up in the first game on the 16th of March for round 1 at the MCG. And I know, Sarah, you're pretty pumped, and you're getting
I'm
really
more
excited
than
about
pumped.
it. Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
double pumped.
Yeah, so
I'm locked and loaded, ready to go.
Yeah, is it because Dusty's going to be down in the forward line? You expect him to kick 5 in the first half, or
Wouldn't that be wonderful? I am a bit concerned. They've just had a bit of a practice run and they didn't go too well. But I think that was just to shake off a few pre-season cobwebs.
Yeah, look, I think that what they're doing, they're just looking after the Richmond supporters so that the odds on sports bet just actually get up a little bit higher so you can get a better result if you're putting in a small bet. And gamble responsibly, people.
Yeah. We're a considerate team.
Yeah, so we'll be covering AFL. Obviously, it's just the starting season, so that will be a sport we'll certainly cover. But the local sports teams we're going to give it some exposure to. We reckon that's important. So we're going to cover the basketball. Obviously, the Rockingham Rams are going to be playing in the local footy league as
Rams.
well. Yeah, we'll get behind them. So hopefully during the seasons we'll be able to get some of the players in, have a bit of a chat and see how they're going. Couple of quirky little segments that we'll keep under wraps. We'll surprise you for the listeners in a couple of weeks. And generally it's having a bit of fun. Sarah and I want to have a bit of fun and just give people a sports fix out there, and also just cover the community and give everyone a little bit of exposure that they probably don't have. We might even support some of the local schools, get in there and see how the kids are going with their sport, and the community always, sport's big in the community, and we want to give everyone a little bit of a taste of what's happening.
Absolutely, and if anyone out there's got a marathon that Fazman can have a crack at,
Are
then
you saying I need to go on a little bit of a program?
No, I was just saying you're in it.
Okay.
He can commentate the marathon. That's what she means.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Not take part in it, no.
I was going to say I wouldn't get too far. We'll be covering a lot. Now, Sarah, you were up last night. I wasn't the only one. You've got some pretty exciting news. You were watching one of your family members last night.
I was. It was a pretty exciting moment for the David family. So the first national game or international game of under-18s rugby kicked off last night for the women's.
Awesome.
Gotta love the women's. They're doing great things in the sport at the moment. And my niece, Millie David, started at position 15. And it was her very first game representing the Roses. So I got to watch her.
Yeah.
She had a try and all up her and her teammates absolutely flogged Wales. Sorry, Wales.
Yeah.
Poor Wales.
That's the natural order of things.
Getting some dirty looks because we're sitting amongst a few dragons, but no, it was a very exciting, and there's something pretty special about hearing your own surname announced, and
of course, yeah,
and watching some of your own cross that try line.
Was there a couple of tears in the eye watching her last night?
I was a pretty proud auntie,
Yeah,
I must say. But I am very, very excited because a lot of investment is going into rugby at the moment within the Women's League, in the Women's Tournament, and at all levels.
Yeah.
So right down to grassroots rugby, and we're starting to see it really, really paying off. And it was evident in England's performance last night. They've just got some great up-and-coming players, and it'll be really exciting. The Six Nations for that age group will be kicking off in a few weeks.
Right.
So that'll be really good. So that's the northern teams playing out. And then, of course, as we move to the men's on the other side, which we all do. And we've got Super Rugby.
Got the World Cup.
Super Rugby happening at the moment. And it is a World Cup year. Lots to be pumped about when it comes to rugby.
Fantastic. I'm really pumped by the show. It sounds like it's going to be some really great stuff. And I love what you were saying as well about the local content. So, there's lots of local community sports that might struggle to get traction, and we can give them
participation. There's a lot of clubs out there that are struggling for players. So if there are clubs that want assistance to get some profile out there, they can email us, and that our email is talkingsport@iplradio.org.au, and we might be able to assist giving them a bit of a plug out there during our show. And we are going to be firing up an AFL footy tipping competition too. So we'll talk more about that coming up on our show on Thursday. So plenty to look forward to, and we're really excited. And
I've heard that tipping system is like hole proof, so it's guaranteed.
Well, I've been in footy tipping for many years, and I haven't won a cent. It's like a donation, I think, because I might as well just hand my money in. But I think the system to AFL footy tipping is know nothing about footy, and you're half a chance because I'm no good at it, obviously.
But I think you've heard a few whispers. I think that's what you're saying. You've heard a few whispers because there's going to be a special participant in our footy competition, footy tipping competition. But you have to wait. You have to wait till Thursday.
No, we don't.
I mean,
have to wait till Thursday.
We'll have to find out.
But get involved. We'll be announcing it in the next few days.
Yeah, cool.
So sign up, join us, and see if you can beat me.
Well, there you go. There's the challenge.
Game
Throwing
on.
down the gauntlet.
Game
Game on.
Game on.
Steve's pretty
Sounds
confident
exciting.
in her tipping, so we might be all out to beat her by the sounds of it.
Awesome. Okay, so it's on Thursday. It starts this week.
Yeah, starts
and
this week.
3 till 6.
Yeah, we've got an interview coming up with one of the main commentators of Tasmanian footy. It's a pretty important current topic at the moment is Gillon McLaughlin, the CEO of the AFL, was down in Tasmania talking about the chances of the 19th licence in the AFL. So we'll probably get a different angle from somebody who really knows about what's happening in the footy down there rather than the corporates. It's about, he's involved, he's a school teacher, so he understands about footy in the schools and also in the local leagues and the grassroots and how much development will need to go into the state to make sure that a team would be successful if it gets the tick. But they're relying on about $270 million for a stadium to get the tick. So
wouldn't that be cool if they created a team in Tasmania and they won? Like they won the cup.
Oh, it'd be
Well,
huge.
why wouldn't they?
It
I
was
mean,
huge.
how many great players have come out of Tasmania?
Yeah, heaps.
Heaps.
You've got Baldock, Hart, Richardson, just to name a few, and there's plenty more.
Koutafidis.
Yeah, Rewald. Well, mind you, we've just mentioned 3 Richmond players. That's probably
Well, it doesn't matter. It's where they go.
It was a pure
it.
accident.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Pure
Pritchard
accident.
from Hawthorn, Alistair Lynch from Brisbane. There's so many. And
Brad Green from Melbourne.
Yeah.
I don't see why they shouldn't broaden it. And, we saw the weekend past NRL started as well. And the Dolphins were playing. So that's a brand new franchise.
Yeah.
So
And they're going pretty well too, by the looks of it.
they went well.
Yeah.
They've got a great coach.
Yeah. That helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, be interesting to see whether Alistair Clarkson gets a little bit of a twitch when he comes out of contract from North Melbourne because he very much was part of the bid to get up and running. So be interesting to see if he has an interest in taking over the coaching of the Tasmanian team if it gets up.
Well, let's hope it does because a couple of years ago, I think in the basketball, Tasmania were in the finals with Sydney Kings, but they lost. But they got there.
Yeah,
So that's
and the stadium is packed out every week. So they get behind it. Tassie, they're a very passionate, loyal.
They've got the
group.
bite.
Yeah, it's like the little island down there against the rest. So it'd be a good. Experience and atmosphere if they did have a team, but they need that stadium for it to happen.
And so they need to listen. People need to listen to your show on Thursday to find out the latest.
Yeah, it'll be a great chat with Dave Moore, who's a commentator for the State League down there, and he'll have a good chat about it.
Are you allowed to talk about the other interview that you've got lined up on Thursday as well, or is that?
We'll just leave that one for a moment. We're just trying to finalise that one, but there'll be some really good interviews during our show. We have been confirmed that Mitch Cleary from Channel 7 Melbourne occasionally will join us. He'll give us all the goss of what's happening over in Melbourne, because obviously Perth is very much a Dockers and Eagles type market, but to find out a little bit on the other teams over in Victoria and the Eastern States, we'll be able to cover that as well. So it'll be great to talk to Mitch during the year.
Awesome. I'm really pumped. I'm really looking forward to listening to your first show. And also we want to make it interactive as possible. So we want people to phone in, message us on Facebook with who they think will win this year.
Yeah, and email through. If they've got some questions or any topics that they think that might be of interest to our show, I'm sure SD and I will consider them.
Absolutely. Rack them and stack them. We're ready.
That's it. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to put a song on and then we'll be out after this.